Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Friday. And all of our guests today brought to you by the Bayside Oceanfront Resort. That includes Ian Furness down in Seattle, standing by. Escape to the Bayside Oceanfront Resort, the ideal mid-island destination for a relaxing weekend getaway. Enjoy comfortable accommodations, ocean views, and exceptional service. Book your stay today at BaysideResortParksville.com as we bring in Ian Furness from KGR Sports Radio, Kraken Hockey Network. Kraken hosting the Canucks Saturday down at Climate Pledge. Ian, thanks for doing this. How are you? I think about 40 people have already said to me that when Ian comes on next time, this is nothing original. Ask him if he's charging a tariff for this hit.
Hey, you know what? I'll man, they beat me to the punch.
Yeah, sorry.
I'll waive the tariff if you get me a good weekend at that Bayside place.
Oh, yeah.
How's that?
Done deal.
Yeah.
Ryan will get on it for you, okay? Contact him.
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, Ryan, guy. Appreciate it. Appreciate you, buddy.
Tough season for the Kraken. 23rd in goals against per game, 26th in PK. What are they, 11 points out of a playoff spot? What are the main issues, Ian?
Where do we start? I thought we were going to talk about the misery you guys are suffering heading into the game tomorrow with these.
Tyler Myers was outstanding last night in the first
No
period.
misery here. No misery here.
Well, there was misery. You lost the game, like last I checked. So there is misery. Like I saw that, despite the heroics of one Tyler Myers. But, it starts all over the place. There's a couple of issues. One, Joey Decor's been really good in goal. And if Joey plays, they have a chance to win. If Joey doesn't play, it's really hard. Philip Grubauer is, I believe it's 5-15 now on the season. And I know goalie, records are like pitching wins and losses, doesn't matter. But this is one that's a telling stat. It honestly tells a story. He's got an .866 save percentage. He's in Coachella Valley. So they're riding Decord. Defense has to kind of jump up and create offense a lot of times because they don't really have an aircraft carrier up front to score. Scoring goals has been a problem. Even though the stats tell you that stopping the opposition from scoring is a problem, it really is the other way around. They just haven't been able to score. The power play has been really, really a challenge this season. And so, here we are, 11 games, 11 points out of a playoff spot, looking to the trade deadline a week from today and looking to the offseason.
No, Ian, I wanted you to talk about the Kraken, not the Canucks. What was going on there?
Yeah, well, I said 11 points out. You guys are one up with the game in hand and all that. So there is a little bit of a difference. And, goaltending seems to be an issue last night. I saw the playoff hero had some I watched that game.
Yeah.
That didn't look pretty. So,
Lankin has been good. Yeah. Lankin has been good like Decord. Hey, what's going to happen with the trade deadline? Yanni Gord and Brandon Tanev, I would imagine, are the big question marks down there.
Well, I think it's got to be a foregone conclusion that Tanev gets moved. Expiring contract. He can play, he's a great bottom six guy for a really good playoff team, can kill penalties. He'd probably be on your number one penalty kill unit. And then if something happens, he doesn't look too out of place, although he doesn't know how to score unless it's an empty net. But you can put him in the top six role in a pinch if you have to. But he's gone. If he doesn't go, then that's a problem because there's no reason for him to stick around. It's expiring contract. There's no place, not with young guys coming up. And you should be able to net something for him. Yanni Gord's the interesting one, guys, because he skated today without a red jersey for the first time. He had hernia surgery. He's been on LTIR, and so he skated without a red jersey today. And I think there's a strong push to get him in the lineup tomorrow against Vancouver. He was on the fourth line today, centering that fourth line. They sent their fourth line center down, Mitchell Stevens, back to Coachella Valley the other day. So I'm expecting Yanni to play, and if he plays today or tomorrow and then plays on Tuesday, then one of two things could happen with Yanni. You could move him if there's a market for him. I think you maybe look at an extension if there isn't a market. If you can get a return on him, great. Otherwise, you bring him back. You just tell him he's a fourth line center next year. They're set down the middle. Like of all the other things they've got going on that they need to improve, they're set down the middle with Beniers, Wright, Chandler Stevenson. So if Yanni Gord's your fourth line center next year and a leader and a guy that can do a lot of different things for you, you're in pretty good shape. But those two are guys that candidates to move. Jamie Alexiak has to be a candidate to move. He's got no trade clause that they got to have to talk about. And I honestly, not much would surprise me in terms of the trade deadline, in terms of them moving guys. They're not going to move to Cord. Stevenson and Montour, contract-wise, they're not going anywhere. Eberle's their captain. He's not going anywhere. Wright, Beniers, they'll want to re-sign Capo Caco, but I don't know. I think the list is longer in terms of who could get moved as opposed to who won't get moved.
Well, you mentioned a guy there, Shane Wright, 34 points. I heard the coach talking. They got a plan for him. He's been really playing well of late, has he not, Ian?
If you look at the numbers, Rick, from American Thanksgiving until now, and what he's done, he's one of the top young players in the NHL. He's really, really come on. He sat out, had a 3-game stretch where they sat him out. He was a healthy scratch, kind of a reset, and since then, I mean, he's just hockey cliche coming. Stand by. He's a 200-foot player, fellas, but he is. He really, really is, and. Watching him every single day, we have North Fan Zone, Brett Festerling, now part of our group up here, down here in the Kraken Hockey Network, and we were just talking about the other day. I mean, what this guy's able to do is hockey IQ. You can't teach that. I mean, you just can't teach, the feel for the game. This guy really, really has it, and I just, you guys know me for a long time. Like it's sports. We have fun. We joke around. Not many things, really get me pissed off. But when I hear people over the last few months had been, ripping on this kid and everything else and using the bust word and all those, like give your head a shake. Like what? Understand, he turned 21 3 weeks ago. He's just turned 21. He's a young player, but I'm telling you, I'm so excited to see what happens with him over the next couple of years because he's really, really turned into a good hockey player.
All right. Spring training. Gotta love it. Love when they hit those hot places for spring training. What's your preview of the Mariners? What are we going to get this year?
Well, what you always get, they'll start slow. They'll have a surge, and they'll miss the playoffs by a game or two. I mean, it's really the script is rather simple. It doesn't change. They didn't spend any money in the offseason. It's funny. Todd Lewicki, who's the CEO for the Kraken, he was on our midday show a couple weeks ago for wait for this. This is you guys are gonna love this one. This is a unique idea in sports. A President's Day show special where you have all the team presidents on. Where have I heard that before? Team 1040. But yeah, he was on, and I mean, he just said, look, this is unacceptable. And it is. What's going on this year for their ownership group and for Lewicki and Sam Holloway and Andy Jassy, the Amazon money to people, it's unacceptable. And they spend money. And so whatever happens in the offseason, I'll bring it back to the Mariners, but whatever happens, we know this with the Kraken. They don't mind paying multiple coaches if they have to, and they don't mind buying guys. This team will spend money. The Mariners, in a league without a salary cap, guys, are unwilling to spend to the market size they are in. We're in median market 12 in the States, and they don't spend to that level. They're going to depend on this. They're going to depend on this great pitching staff and hope that great pitching staff stays healthy all year for a second year in a row. That's a big if. They've got really a great young catcher in Cal Raleigh, a good, maybe possibly great center fielder in Julio Rodriguez, and then everything else is a question mark. I mean, it's an if. And the fact they didn't go out and address first base or third base, they re-signed Polanco. He's played like 2 or 3 games. He wasn't good at second, so they're going to put him at third this year. They used the excuse that he was hurt last season. I always find that hard to believe. If he's hurt, why was he playing? But he's going to be your third baseman. Crawford, they're hoping bounce back. They hope that Robles and Rosareno and the corner outfields are good. And I don't know. There's a lot of ifs and a lot of hopes. They're a good baseball team. Like inherently, they're a good baseball team. The question is, did they do enough in the offseason? The answer is no. But did they have to do more in the offseason? The answer is, will play out during the season.
Well, as for the Seahawks, as we wrap things up here, Ian, what's this, DK Metcalf to Green Bay? Any truth to that?
Green Bay, my understanding is, I was just texting somebody that was in on that story today. Green Bay did not want that out at all, but I guess they inquired about him. Schneider and Mike McDonald and John Schneider have been very adamant that DK's not going anywhere. We expect him to be a $100 million player. It just changes the dynamic of what you do offensively if you trade this guy, because then all of a sudden your priorities change. You got to go find a wide receiver. The Green Bay thing is interesting because, and listen, never say never. stuff happens in the league. I mean, we probably talked before Russell Wilson got traded, and I didn't think that was going to happen. I also didn't know that Russell had gone to ownership and tried to get Pete and John fired. So that was a little bit of a twist there to that we didn't know about till later. But John Schneider worked in Green Bay. He's close with the guys in Green Bay. That's one of those John Schneider talking to Green Bay and Green Bay saying, "Hey, is DK available?" That doesn't surprise me. Hell, if I'm an NFL team and I need a wide receiver, I'm calling Seattle for sure to see if DK is available. But I think it's highly unlikely that he gets moved. I would be stunned. I really would.
And just very quickly, Ian, your thoughts. We haven't talked to you for a while, but 73-year-old Pete Carroll is back in the National Football League, head coach of the Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, it's awesome to see. He's good for football. Football's better off with Pete in the league, isn't he?
Yep.
I mean, it's just his enthusiasm is infectious. I mean, I hope, I don't think it'll even be close to having that kind of energy when I'm his age. I think all of us would hope that, but he's
you don't
good
have
for
it
football.
now.
He's good for,
Oh,
I don't. You're right.
Neither do I.
You're right. I mean, that's pot kettle. That's pot kettle right there is what that is. 100%.
Very good.
That's why we do what we do.
Yeah.
That's why we do what we do. Yeah. Hey, how many of those knucklehead Canucks fans are going to come down and bother me tomorrow when I'm trying to do my pregame show? You tell those guys, do I need to call the Peace Arch or the truck crossing and tell them to kind of slow things down tomorrow?
We've contacted 200. We've contacted 250 of them. They're under contract.
The last time the Canucks were in town, it was easily the best atmosphere we've had at Climate Pledge outside of the playoffs. Yep. It was awesome. I'm sure it'll be replicated tomorrow. I mean, I can't wait. It's fun. I do like sitting up there because we're kind of exposed. Your viewers / listeners are everywhere. I can tell you that right now. I get chirped by so many people wearing, Sedin jerseys or whatever else, like, old school, Tiger Williams jersey or something. Like these guys just chirping away at me from afar. I'm just like, extra security is called. It's just but no, it's gonna be a fun atmosphere tomorrow. It's a ton of fun when you guys we've got to get these two teams in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Got to get them together at
Yeah.
some point.
Yes.
Because it'll change things. The dynamic. But the last game here, honestly, was great. It was awesome. Hopefully we get Four Nations Lankin in tomorrow. Do we get that guy? I like that guy. I like that goalie a lot better.
Yeah, he got pulled. He got pulled. Wait, listen,
is 40 playing tomorrow, or is he going to be a healthy scratch like he was last night?
Whoa, shots flying.
Yeah. You're right. It's hard to notice him out there. Hey, Ian, I'm just glad we're big in Seattle. I don't know about Victoria and Vancouver, but I'm happy about Seattle.
You're big. He's like I said. Your army of your legions of fans. They find their way down here. I can just tell you that. I'm already preparing for it right now. It'll be interesting. And then I think there's some other stuff going on between the two countries. But trust me when I say this. Trust me when I say this. Most right-thinking people down here don't agree with what's going on. I'll just say that.
Attaboy.
Absolutely.
All right, Ian. Thanks for this. We'll talk to you when some other big Seattle news breaks. All right?
Good talking to you guys. See ya.